Hello, and today we're going to look at The Ninth World, a skill building game for Numenera by Lonesharks Games. Now, having removed the slip cover, you've got this magnetic box which has a natty map of the kind of known world on the outside. And the first thing I'm going to say is I absolutely hate this box. It's got a magnetic seal, and when you open it, you end up with a like a scoring track along here with all the components in here, and the rule book doesn't quite fit, and that's something that I noticed on the Kickstarter and wasn't too happy with. And yeah, seeing it in the flesh, it's not particularly impressive. And also, because this is part of the Kickstarter, I get some extra cards. I think this is the Beyond expansion, which won't be available in retail for a while, and then this little promo-y type card here as well. So I will need to read the Kickstarter updates to double check. Anyway, having whinged about the box, let's look at the contents. Okay, so getting open the box, on top we've got the sort of character cards here, some tokens including the kind of monolith standee, then a little tray with some dice, and I believe these are skill cards, and then underneath on a bigger insert we've got this world here and a couple of packs of wilderness cards. So time to read the rules, punch out everything, unwrap, etc. Now, another strike against the game, it doesn't come with any baggies, so I've had to find a baggie to put these counters in, but the counters themselves, they punch out fairly cleanly. They do seem, decent thickness, etc. And the monolith looks quite nice once you've got it, but I'm not sure how you're going to store it. I guess you might be able to fit it in here, but it looks a bit borderline on the size, so yeah, I'm still hating on this box, I'm sorry, but anyway, let's stop whinging about the box and show you the game. Well, here we go, we've got everything laid out. So you've got your town cards, which have some pretty nice artwork with your various effects and costs, etc. You also have your wilderness cards, which currently are in colour, so blue, yellow, green, etc. So that's your wilderness cards. You then have your, let's actually go over here, your sort of location cards that you're going to be exploring, and when you reveal them, some go in round 5, round 6, round 2, etc. Then you have, if you're playing in kind of competitive mode, your kind of bidding screens. Then your actual character, so I am Beltin, who is stealthy Jack with charm and lives in the wilderness, whereas I am Brannock is they're clever, they're good in combat with glaive, and wields power with precision. And let's give you one more, I am Genza, charming nano who entertains. Now, this comes about from the Numenera role-playing game, which this board or card game is inspired by. As part of that pack, you also get the phase order, which is slightly different if you're doing co-op stuff. There are some co-op thresholds. You've then got your various skills and powers. So we've got Scout, Focus, Effort, Tinker, Charm and Combat, and they can upgrade. So Scout 1 all the way up to, oh, that's a Tinker card, all the way up to Scout 4, and that's pretty much the same for all the skills. They all go from ranking 1 to 4. You've then got your various powers, so Who Abides in Crystal. Now, it could get wounded, so you flip it over, cover your power with this card. In the focus phase, you may spend 2 skill points to heal this wound, so flip it back over. So I'm not sure if you're meant to actually just cover a power with another card or just flip it over. I haven't read the full rules yet. And there you go, that is pretty much the contents. Now, you've already briefly seen the counters, but you also get some dice. Now, these are effectively fudge dice, so that's your plus, that's your minus, that's your blank. So you roll that, that's a plus, you roll it again, it's a blank, and then you roll it and you get a minus, and you get 2 of those. And yeah, there you go. So I'm probably not going to give a run through because the game is a little bit fiddly to set up. But yeah, You typically start off here in Thamor, so tucked inside the Steadfast and scorned or by all its neighbours, Numenera thirsts for relevance, but its lands are green and its hopes are high. And then you might go off and explore, for example, the Osmosis Channel. Thamor. Led by their controlling petty ruler, Osmus, the nearby villagers lead a twice-weekly religious procession through this ancient channel. And then Osper, City of Needles in Thamor. The residents of Asper despair that others look down on them, so they build up and up and up, that they may return the favour. So there you go, some nice little thematic stuff in there, and again, the artwork is pretty nice. And then of course we've got another region here, Iskabal, and I believe there was a Kickstarter option to get a map, which I didn't actually get, which maybe was a mistake, we'll see. Anyway, now to work out how to put all this together and actually play it. Okay, so the way you play the game, you pick a region to explore. So you've got Thamar, you've got Gan, you've got Navagirin, and a whole load of other locations you can go and visit. So having picked your region, you flip over the various region options, and you can choose to go, I think it's 5 to 9 rounds, and you place a little marker on and it advances along. And in some regions, for example round 1, play normally. In round 2, an orderly march. In each phase each hero adds 1 skill point, and then in round 4, Majesty of Nature. At the start of the what's known as Tinker phase, each hero may mark 1 wilderness card. And what you're trying to do is you are trying to get the most valor on this track here to kind of be the winner of the game. And the way you're going to do that is when you pick your character, you will get some tokens. So you'll have a little special ability on your card, and you'll put another token up here to track your valor, and you'll get your starting cards. So you'll typically get 3 effort cards and then 2 skill cards relative to here. So I am Bracaneur, I am a clever glaive who wields power with precision. Now when you get power upgrades, it actually will replace your power on your character sheet. But there you go. And what you're doing is you're going to bid in secret during each phase. So in the scout phase you might, for example, bid 1 effort in secret, and that will give you exploration into either the wilderness or the town, I guess, potentially. Now the town starts off with 5 cards automatically revealed, and what you're having to do to claim these cards, you need to bid enough stuff to overcome sort of the cost in the top corner, and that will give you so much valor and potentially a special ability. Now cyphers are unique sort of cards, then you can only claim them in the Tinker phase. Yellow are charms, you can only claim them in the charm phase, which is when you deal with quests, and then combat or red cards you deal with in the combat phase. So if you put 1 on here, you can defeat this for 2 valor. However, when claimed, roll 2 dice. If both are bad, you gain a wound. So when you defeat it, you roll your 2 dice. If they're both minus, then you get a wound, and let's say I failed, I'll take a wound card and I'd put it over my power, and that would be a bad thing. So in the scout phase you could choose, if there's not 5 cards out in the town, to go scouting. So let's say I win with 2, so I could reveal 2 wilderness areas. Now I've been lucky, I've actually revealed a temple map, so it's a prize. Claim and display this immediately, discard this to add 1 focus point. So I get 1 valor and I could have 1 focus point by claiming that. But this other card that I've discovered is a quest, so I could choose to, when you advance your scout skill, complete 1 tier. When you do, roll 1 die. A bad means gain a wound, and there's only 1 tier here. I believe there are some quests with multiple levels. Let me see if I can quickly find one for you. Yes, so for example this one here has multiple levels that you have to complete. Now, one of the things I am going to criticize this game for is not only is the box annoying me, but the rulebook is, in my opinion, pretty terrible. It doesn't do a very good job at explaining what the cards do. It talks about, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, but it doesn't actually point out what this is, what the quests are very well. It's sort of almost a rulebook written for people who know how to play, and so that is quite irritating. So you've got an irritating box, irritating rule, and a sort of a semi-fiddly setup. So there are lots of things to criticize this game for, but one thing you can't criticize it for is some of the theme and the artwork. So on this character card, if you flip it over, you've got some little blurb on the back here which you may enjoy. The artwork on the cards is this sort of sci-fi fantasy stuff, and you sometimes have some little interesting comments potentially down at the bottom. And the overall design aesthetic is pretty nice. So some of the quests here. So for example, sorry, this is a cipher. This is a quest. On ciphers, in any phase, discard this to roll 2 die. If each is good, add 1 point in that phase's skill. So as I say, you're trying to build up your skills, and that's to help you with this cost in the top left-hand corner, so you can then claim the card and get the bonus valor in the bottom, and at the end of the game most valor wins. Now you can choose to play this cooperatively or solo, which you may prefer, and that's going to change things. For example, on the back here, at the end of round 3, at the end of round 6, at the end of round 9, you've got to have achieved some thresholds. So the phases, as I say, draw and mark wilderness card, so you get your little token and you place it on a card. So here you go, let's say this wilderness card. So I've claimed this card, and I need to get 8 claims on this to effectively deal with this card, and then I get 15 valor. So it's a pretty hard one to take down, but obviously other people can put claims on this. But when you first do it, I believe you rotate it so no one else can claim it. So that's quite good. There are also some little valor tokens as well, which haven't quite worked out what they're for just now. So you've got the phases, so wilderness, claiming ciphers, claiming quests, claiming creatures, and then at the end you can advance a skill 1 rank. So that will allow you, for example, to upgrade your tinker from a level 1 to a level 2, or you could upgrade your effort card to, for example, a scout card. Now one thing that is weird is your skill cards, depending on when you use them. For example, a scout card is more powerful in the scout phase, unless it's a level 1, in which case you might as well play it in any old phase, because it doesn't seem to make any old difference, to be honest. So yeah, my main criticisms with the game, and the reason I'm not going to do a playthrough, is, as I say, it's a little bit fiddly to set up, and the rulebook in my mind needs to be redone, and the box is, just as I've already mentioned, abysmal. So I'm afraid this copy of the game, having just arrived, I am moving on. I've decided it's not a game that I want to keep in my collection, but I really appreciate some of the stuff they've done with the game, and it's great to see Numenera get in another board game.